Maybe some of you are keeping somebody from following Islam. You're telling them, well, maybe, we're in America. It'd be better for you. If you can't follow Islam in America, you can't follow Islam. I visited these other countries. Forget about it. You can't touch the red, white, and blue, baby. I'm serious. You want to be a Muslim, even after 9/11, even after the Patriot Act, it's still better here than any other country I've visited. I just came back from a country where they had to have every word I was going to say written down before I could open my mouth. At the university that invited me. Yep. I'm not joking. Stop and think about that. Here I can say whatever I want to say. Not just because I'm in the masjid, I go to universities. How many of you went to university the night we were here? I said what I wanted to say. And if they don't like it, they just won't invite you back. That's all. This United States of America is still a pretty great place for Muslims to be. And by the way, I don't want anybody to blow that. Okay? So don't even jokingly come and talk to me about anything which is against the United States. Don't even do it as a joke. Don't do it. Now, if you don't like Mr. Bush, that's a different story. But don't come up with, this jivey talk about, we have to do this, we have to, no, because it's just talk. And it's something that very much disturbs our youth, and they don't need to hear that kind of nonsense. We have something to do, an important job. The job we have to do is to deliver a message. What's the message? There's only one God. Worship Him without any partners. Deliver the message. And if you don't like it here, the rest of us will take up a collection. We can fly you wherever we want to go. Yeah, it's a one-way ticket. You're right. That's exactly right. Now, when I'm answering this question about the wives, there's a number of issues that come up. But the rest of the verse, keep reading it. It said, and if you fear, or if you know, or you become aware of, that this woman is doing lewd and lascivious behavior. I'm using words that are not usually in the translation, because it means something really bad. It doesn't mean if you're afraid that she's talking on the phone too much or something like that. No, she's doing something really bad. It tells you the steps on how to handle it. Because I'm going to ask you a question. Average man in this country comes home, finds his wife doing something bad, and he doesn't like it. He's going to freak out, right? He might smack her. He might kick her out. He might do a lot of things, and Islam doesn't allow that. First, you have to apprise her of the situation. The word usually translated as admonish them. Tell them, don't do this. This is not Islam, don't do that. Then you have to give her time to adjust and not do it anymore. Proof? Read the rest of the verse. And if they don't adhere to that, if they don't come around, then don't share the bed with them. Now that's obviously not a fast deal there, because not sharing the bed, that's at least a few nights, isn't it? Huh? By the way, it doesn't mean leave the house. Don't do that. You're going to come up with a new problem. Okay? You stay home, but you don't have intercourse with them. And then they're going to go, hey, well, this guy must be pretty serious, And then they still don't come around. Then it says, in the English translation, beat them. But the word used in Arabic can't be understood that way, because the Prophet ﷺ is the only one to give explanation of words in Quran. And they ask him about this. What does this word mean? And he went like this. Now watch. And he took his miswak, which is no bigger than this pen, and he hit his arm like this. He said, that's it. That's the meaning. And it meant it was a signal, like we use the expression, the straw that breaks the camel's back. According to Dr. Jamal Bedawi, he said that understand this as the stages of divorce. Talaq. First, admonish. They still don't come around. Second, don't share the bed. Third, this is your goodbye. Because it's something really serious. But for sure, it doesn't mean beat them, as in take a whip and beat their brains against the wall or something like that. So that has to be understood the way that it was explained. Because the Prophet ﷺ clearly stated that the best of you are the best to your wives, and I'm the best of you to my wives. And he ordered them, don't beat your wives. How can you beat them like animals in the day, and then you want to go to them like a wife at night? How? So it's forbidden in Islam to do that. Please don't try to give your own meaning to Allah's words, because you can really, that's serious. Another point. What about 4 wives? As I already mentioned, this came as a limit because they had no limit before. What's the limit? Allah said in the Quran, read it in context, it's the beginning of Surah An-Nisa. Do not steal the money of the orphan girls. This is the meaning of it. Don't rob the orphan girls by mixing their money with your money and playing around and taking away their inheritance. This is what it's talking about. And don't marry these girls to get their money. This is what it's saying, because they used to do that. A girl could be 2 or 3 years old. Her parents die. A guy says, I'm marrying her. Why? Because he wants the inheritance. And just take it. That's what they did. And Allah was forbidding that practice. Everybody understand what I'm talking about? And then he continues by saying, marry other women, not the orphan girls. Marry other women of your choice by 2, that's first number, by 3, by 4, if you can treat them equally. But if you can't, then you can marry how many? Everybody knew that one, didn't you? Your wife trained you pretty good, didn't she? He said 1, ma'am. He said 1. Yes, ma'am. He said. I've been in brother's house. We sit there eating. I said, how many wives do you have? Shh, brother. You get me in trouble just for mentioning it in my house. By the way, that works 2 ways, lady. You're not supposed to beat them either, Alhamdulillah. But I want to ask you a question now. Did you understand that the Prophet ﷺ had more than 1 wife at one time? He did when he was much older. He had several wives. How did he take care of them? He divided his time equally for each one. And he took permission from them. If they wanted to change the night, it wasn't up to him. It was from them. They would tell him what night you'll be here and what time you're going to be over there. He was working for them. Is it true? And he had a lot of consideration and compassion for his wives. A lot of care. Because in Islam, it's not all about this sex thing. This is the sickness that the people have in a society where they don't know what a true relationship is. It all hinges off of one thing. That's kind of sick. Islam is much, much broader than that. There are some cases where a woman can't have children, or a man can't have children. And in this case, Islam is providing for that. If a woman doesn't want to be married to a man, she can simply go to the imam and it's over, like that. For the man, he can't get away that quick. He has to go through stages. We know about that. There are 3 talaqs, divorces, before they're actually divorced from the man's side. But for a woman, it's 1. Or she go to the imam, lay the case out. If it's a legitimate case, that's it. Finished. Finished. There is no time. For the man, there is. So that's another misconception that people are having when the people are saying something like, oh yeah, in Islam you just go, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, and throw something on her shoes and walk out the door. No, it's not like, what is that? People are making this stuff up and insulting the greatest way of life there ever was. And these people need it. The ones attacking Islam, they need Islam. Look at their society, man. I feel so sorry for my countrymen here to know that many people committing suicide because they don't know what to do with their life. Many of them killing each other. A man kills his own wife. It's so common on TV now. A man killed his wife today. Woman killed her husband today. Woman killed her husband and the kids. The kids killed the mother and the father. I'm waiting for the dog killed everybody in the house. It's amazing what's going on. On Jerry Springer, a man married his own dog in Florida.